Millions of Brazilians are going to the polls to choose a new president. The winner of the runoff vote will succeed President Lula da Silva, who leaves office with his popularity ratings at a record high of 80%. With me now is Gary Duffy, who is our Brazil correspondent for the past 3 years. So Gary, they're big shoes to fill. Who's trying to fill them?
Well, Dilma, who was chief of staff for President Lula, and José Serra, who was a former governor of São Paulo. And I think really this election has all been about continuity. Brazil is a country which has a lot of problems still to confront. There's great inequality, there's sometimes shocking violence in some of its main cities. The infrastructure in many parts of the country is weak, but the overwhelming story of the last few years has been a success story for Brazil. They're due to host the Olympics in 2016, the World Cup in 2014. Major oil fields have been discovered off the Brazilian coast. It's set to become the 5th largest economy in the world by about 2020. So I think both candidates were trying to present themselves as people who could continue with President Lula's record and continue with that pattern of growth and success.
And if we're to believe the opinion polls, it looks as though Dilma Rousseff will be the person who eventually wins.
Yes, that certainly looks to be the way. Obviously, you have to respect the power of democracy, and more than 130 million people going to the polls today from the cities of São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro right up to Manaus in the heart of the Amazon. The jungle. It certainly looks as this politician, she was chief of staff for President Lula, not I think terribly well known to this today. This will be the first election that she has ever run. She became involved in politics in the 1960s when Brazil was under military rule. She was arrested and tortured. Then she worked her way up through state government, became his energy minister and then his chief of staff. She's regarded as a great fixer, not a great deal of charisma, not like President Lula, but certainly somebody who's a very capable politician.
And I've been reading in some of the press in Brazil that really people, as you say, feel as though they don't know much about her, but the fact that she's been endorsed by Lula da Silva, that might be enough to get her over the line.
Yes, that seems to have been the pattern here. He took a risk. I think corruption scandals in various years narrowed his options, and he picked somebody I think everybody widely recognised had this sort of lack of charisma, but he was hoping to transfer his enormous popularity of around 80% at the moment to her. And to a certain extent he succeeded. I mean, there was a stumble I think during the campaign when the first round Marina Silva, the third candidate who's not running in this round, did extremely well, and there was a controversy around the issue of abortion when it appeared that Dilma Rousseff was sympathetic to the idea that there could be a reform in the abortion law. She had to backtrack on that and now seems headed for success.
Okay, Gary Duffy, thanks very much for coming in.